Alright, guys, welcome back to God's Country Shooting and Outdoors. It has been a crazy few days. I actually just finished eating supper. We opened up a couple jars of deer meat we canned and made deer barbecue. Really, really good. And I'd advise any of you that like deer meat or even don't like deer meat, it's good. It'll work. Even my wife liked it. So, the wonderful thing about working for the county is getting holidays off. Never had that before until I started working the job I've got now. Unfortunately, today was one of those days where supposed to be off, but nothing went right. So I could, well, let's put it this way. Mom called. The gas fireplace was messed up. Went out to get in the truck. The truck battery was dead. We had a few inches of snow, and snow was pouring down, and possible power outages. Now, that could sound like I'm complaining, but I kind of see it a little bit differently. We're expecting some very cold weather over the next few days, like single digits and wind chill below zero. So I could have been going to work in the morning, and the battery could have been dead in the morning. And we've already got about 5 inches of snow, so definitely need to take the truck. Mom's fireplace went out on a day I was off instead of 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, or middle of the week when I'm working. So I see that as a real blessing as to what God's capable of doing. Things are going to happen. Life is going to happen. Problems are going to occur. But even sometimes a wreck on interstate could be to our benefit. Sometimes we don't realize it's those little problems that keep us out of a bigger problem, a bigger accident. And I know in my life, there's been a few times I got mad because I got behind somebody slow, and then just a mile or two up the road, there's a bad wreck that I just had happen, and I could have been a part of it. So I thank God that sometimes we just need a little slowing down. But I thought what I would try to do today is come clean in a video to you guys. So here's the scenario. A few days ago, I done a video on the Gen 2 450 Bushmaster. I love the gun. But even the guys down at Three Guys Outfitters were like, man, you were struggling to shoot that gun. You was really struggling with that eye relief and stuff, wasn't you? And I'm like, absolutely. And I said, I've never had that kind of problem before, but I've had that problem with a couple of guns. So I come back to the house, and I began to look at my shooting rest. So I'm shooting the Birchwood Alpha shooting rest, and I'm going to be honest, I grew up hunting. We used a backpack, we used the hood of the truck, the side of the truck, the mirror, sandbags, prone on a backpack, but bipods, things like that. But I never had really used a shooting rest like a lead sled, just never did. But for these videos, I wanted to try to eliminate me out of the shooting as much as possible, and keep it just as much about the trigger pull and the gun. The problem is that I really didn't do a whole lot of research because I thought, I'd pick one that had a lot of adjustments and that'd be the end of it. A lot of people shoot the collared whales. I thought, I'll try a little something different. So I was at the shop. I saw the Birchwood. It had a lot of adjustability to it. I liked the weight of it, and I thought that's the one I'm going to get. So I did. I got it. What I found was, and I will try to show you a picture over here, is the fact that the way it's designed, the back end of it has the tubes that comes up for support, and they take up about 3/4 of an inch of your eye relief. Now, when I first got that one, it had an extended pad behind that to help with the recoil, so it was putting the eye relief almost an inch further back than what I needed. 3 shots in, I pulled out my hunting knife. I cut that off of it to reduce some of that, so I still had about 3/4 of an inch of that eye relief change. I didn't really think it would be that big of a deal until I got a hold of a gun that wasn't set to me. And when I got a hold of that 450 Bushmaster, the eye relief was so crazy off that I really struggled with that. So that's my confession, is the fact that I've never really shot a lead sled or a gun rest like that until recently. And I had to learn that there's a lot of problems with choosing the right shooting rest. So today I'd like to just show you some of the different shooting rests that are out there, and there are tons of them out there. There's some that are filled with water. There's some that have no weight at all. So there's a number of them out there, and I'm just going to kind of have the pictures come up over here, and you can kind of look through them. I'm not going to talk too much about them, but I wanted to just kind of show you the ones that don't have a whole lot of weight. You can usually add something to it, a sandbag or something to it. I really like, and I will try to point it out, the Caldwell Stinger. The Caldwell Stinger is one that I'm really thinking about getting for this reason. There's no butt plate back there, so you feel all of the rifle recoil, but you don't have to worry about the eye relief as much being off. So when I set a gun up, to me, I try to think about when I can throw that gun up. I've got the scope pretty well where I want it, and I've got just enough pressure to keep it from moving around, and then I'm going to throw that gun up to what feels right for me, and I'm going to do that 3 or 4 times because I want that gun to come up to the right spot. But when I do that, I always think about a hunting rifle having a little bit more jacket material and stuff like that. So instead of pulling it really tight, I pull it almost tight, just good and snug, and then that way I adjust my eyesight or my length to that, so that when I put that jacket on and I pull it up tight, it's pretty well right on the eye relief, and that's just kind of how I've done it for years. But when you're shooting someone else's guns, and I'm really blessed that some other guys are really getting behind me, and they're like, hey, I've got this, and you want to shoot it? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's a gun, absolutely. And I met a guy the other day, and we hit it off great. He's a great Christian guy, minister, and he's part of another church, and they have a program working with young people. And that's a huge deal for me, is to see young people get into the outdoors. So we talked about that, and he invited me to come and be a part of the ministry and work with some of the young people, do a demonstration once every month or two. And I'm excited to get to do that. I'm thinking about some different topics. One of the things I'm thinking about is fundamentals of shooting, but another thing is tracking deer, understanding, the deer drops, with the blood droplets. When you've shot a deer, you get a pass through, or even if you don't, kind of learning how to track a wounded animal through the woods like a deer. So I'm kind of looking at some things like that. But he offered to let me. He was picking up a Bergara 300 PRC, and I have not had the opportunity to shoot a Bergara. And I'm like, so you gonna let me shoot that? And he was like, I believe I might. So I'm hoping to get together with him and get an opportunity to shoot the Bergara. I can't remember which one it was that he got. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm still going to enjoy shooting it. So the things that I was looking at with the shooting rest, I was focusing a lot on adjustability. And the Alpha really has a lot of adjustability, up and down, side to side, just so many different ways. The back end underneath the butt plate, there's adjustment there, and I loved it. I really loved it, except for how much it changed the length of pull, how much it changed the eye relief. So when you're looking at these, think about what you want versus what is out there. There's so many different models that are out there. I even found one, and I'll try to put it right here again. This one is really neat, but it even has an electronic ignition, so there it is, the picture. So it actually even takes you out of it. All you're doing is just kind of sitting there holding it, but you can actually like remote control the trigger or have a countdown or something to how long it takes for the trigger to pull it without you ever putting your finger on the trigger. So that's I don't really like it myself, but that's neither here nor there. I'm sure there's people that like those. Caldwell makes some really great shooting rests. There's so many different kinds out there. I'd just like to encourage you to take the time to really do what I didn't. Think through the process. Really look over what you're looking for versus what that gun's going to do. And like I say, the biggest objective that any of us can come across or do is for it to fit us to where it shoots good and does its job. It takes us out of the picture as much as possible to make sure that the gun's doing what the gun should be doing. So look at those. The Caldwells don't seem to have a very deep backstop for the rifle butt plate to go against, so it doesn't really look like they take up a whole lot of eye relief. It doesn't change that very much. I really do like that, the fact that they don't change the eye relief too much, but also be aware of the back butt plate. Some of them have a really wide plate that really changes how you get your arm around the gun or changes the position of where it is in your shoulder because they're really wide. So pay attention to that. That's one thing to watch. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for being a part of this. I just wanted to touch base with you, let you know kind of what I'm working on. I look forward to more shooting, but right now weather's pretty bad, and when the weather's really bad, my job has a lot of call outs in that kind of position that I'm in. So do better than me. Think through what kind of bench rest or shooting rest that you want, what you like, and pay attention to those little details. Just because it's got a lot of adjustability, how is it going to be as far as fitting you and shooting? I'll be honest, I'm kind of looking at the Caldwell Stinger and maybe just throwing a couple sandbags on it. I love how it's got the really deep saddle in it, so you can actually shoot an AR with a 30-round magazine in it. It's not going to hurt anything. So I do like that one, and I do like the fact that it allows me the ability to see the eye relief better, and it should make it a little bit easier for me to adjust to the eye relief when I'm shooting somebody else's gun. Anyways, please like, subscribe, share. I hope that you got a little something out of this. Try not to dog me too bad. I just never used the shooting rest too much. All right. So thank you guys. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Remember to love God, love guns, love your family, and still love your country. There's some good guys out there like us.